Hey Keegan, welcome to the show. That piece of music you're listening to in the background, that is from my friend Matea Jan, who is an amazing genius level composer from Slovenia. And that piece is called Tai Chi. And it's meant to be for the movie, Anything is Possible, that's coming up very soon. And as I start to put it all together and start to create more music, more video, more interviews, and it's going to be slightly different from the way the Meta Secret was put together in a new form instead of doing the same old. And it will be interesting because Matea is keeps to himself, has been through a rough patch. He and I are friends for, oh God, how long? I don't know. He lives in the forests of Slovenia, eating squirrels and stuff he can get from the ground. And he grows his own crops and everything. So let me bring that to a little bit of I'm using one computer, basically, to handle everything for now, which is a little bit dangerous when you consider that the entire program is hinging on one. Now, I noticed something also. You're probably asking me why I'm not hooking up a microphone to this and so on and so forth. It's because I haven't turned the microphone on yet. I haven't even taken it out of the box. So I need to set it up, one here and one in that room. And so probably within a week or two, I should get all of these little things up. So the sound will be crisper, the music will be better, and we're getting licensing and everything else so that there's no question. Because right now, YouTube and then part of Facebook is also cutting off a lot of the video and a lot of the sound because they say it's all copyrighted, this and that. So Matea is getting to the bottom of it because he's the owner of all this music. So we don't know why that should even be happening at all. So the sound is not good, and consider this practice until we get to the point where a lot of these broadcasts are not going to be live beyond the next couple of weeks. Next couple of weeks is just for fun, for dialogue, for going back and forth and discussing things as well. And again, if you want to be part of this show and you have something you'd like to share with people, I'm going to give you a little bit of a link here. There we go. Got the link. And I'm going to put the link up here. Just hit on that link and I will see you at the bottom of this whole screen here that's in front of me, and we can then begin to have a nice dialogue about everything. So welcome everybody to the show. Everybody is saying hello. Malinka, Judy, Onchad, welcome. Shirley, welcome. Josephine, welcome. Evelyn, welcome. Ayusakorn, welcome. You can't say it normally. You have to say Ayusakorn. Ayusakorn? No, I'm not corn. I'm cabbage, whichever. And Keegan, of course, welcome. So, regardless, today we're going to be talking about several things that we said we were going to do, and then I realized as I was going to talk about the female, the yin factor, in magic and manifestation and all of that. And a lot of people don't understand. So that's where the Meta Secret comes in, because the Meta Secret is the book that came out way before the Secret was in existence. It was there, the knowledge was there. And the Secret basically starts to give you a distilled version of what the whole dynamics of the 7 laws are all about. The 7 laws of creation. And they're called the 7 laws of attraction. One of the most important thing is the balance, the law of gender, the balance between yin and yang. If you can balance it out well, you begin to understand that yang, logic, consequence, action, accountability, as opposed to yin, which is yielding, soft, and where all of that magic is no longer linear. It is more towards something that will help you to affect the outcome of everything around you, including shaping your reality. So it all comes together, basically. Today, the guests that I want to have on the show are usually high on something and they don't show up, and they'll call me like after the show and say, "Hey, are you going on soon?" I say, "Congratulations, they're not." It's over, and the same thing repeats every day. Charn, welcome to the show. Joycelyn, welcome to the show. If any of you would like to be a guest, please come. Stop me at any time. And my mother is watching too. Mamji, welcome to the show. And so today, let's. I leave it to you. What shall we talk about? Shall we finish up, which I realized we didn't really finish up, on the third eye thing, or should we launch on something new just for fun about the whole feminine aspect in spirituality? What do you think we should do? Someone let me know and make a big statement here. Let's talk about. Hey, Mamji, how are you? We can talk about the pineal and continue talking about the pineal gland and how to activate it some more. We could go into some discussions on the feminine aspects, the characteristics of feminine energy and how it works. Third eye, please. So far, 1 out of 15 people are saying third eye. If I have 3 or more consensus on feminine energy as opposed to third eye, and we shall discuss that also, because there are ways in which you can harness the power of the divine feminine on this spiritual journey that you're taking, and take you a little bit higher, and so on and so forth. And once you learn to balance all of this, then you begin to realize both. How can I cover both? I've got an hour basically. Woman, third eye, please. So there's 2 third eyes and 1 both. So if we have maybe 2 more third eyes, and the third eyes will have it. And then we'll go back to the third eye. And somebody had mentioned that I said there were going to be supplements that you could use to wake up the third eye as well. I also realized I didn't cover that. And we will do that. Yuck. Tart. This is a mixture of pure lemon juice, about 4 lemons, charged water, and pomegranate, pure pomegranate. No sugar. Wow. It'll take me 2 days to finish that. And what I did was, there's 4 lemon, the juice from 4 lemons, and then 1 whole lemon. I just throw it into the blender. If you can look at that, you can see it near the bottom, the sediments. That will also be consumed. It's actually quite useful for you. Third eye. Okay, good. Meta Secret. Actually, I will be having a Meta Secret course, and then I realized that I'll also have a course on what it means to open up the third eye and the responsibilities that are. So the third eyes have it. Jonah, hi, welcome. Yes, let's do that. Let's begin with the third eye then. Before we go into third eye activation, pineal gland activation, I wanted to cover one more thing. Let me get rid of this uncommon sense. And I made a note of it so I wouldn't forget to tell you about this. There we go. There are supplements that you can use to be able to clean out the energies and the vibrations of the third eye. When you start to do that, you go towards a greater psychology of being and more into the understanding of how these selected pineal supplements I'm going to tell you about actually work within the body. And ultimately, when you start to sample each and every one of them, or all of them in combination, there are about 11 so far that we've identified, then what will happen is you begin to realize that you may need one more than the other, because every person has a unique biology. And every person has a different framework in which they respond to various food items or supplements and such and such and such. So it's not one size fits all. You're going to have to play with them a little bit, use them, and your instincts will guide you. A part of you will say, I need less of this, I need more of this. Don't look at the price of anything, because your body, your mind, your psychology, your mental framework, your ability to rationalize and to be able to see the truth of everything is all very, very important. So you have to pay attention to all of that as well. So let me launch into what they are without holding you back. If you are on any kind of medication, just as an aside, it's probably a good idea to check with your doctor before taking certain supplements, because it might have contraindications with the things I'm going to be telling you to pay attention to as well. Let your biology be your guide. Like I said before, you need to tune in a little bit. You need to be able to listen to what your bodies are telling you, which I did a lot. In the last 2 days, I didn't continue on that work I told you I was doing, because I was already feeling the stress, and I allowed myself to rest and sleep. I had to let go of certain things, and then I'll continue again with vigor. So it always makes it very, very good to be able to rest from a certain task that you've been focused on, and then finish it when you are a little bit more rested. There's no race to finish this. So internal listening is something that is practiced. I told you before, when you take a liquid or food or anything, you can follow it all the way through. To keep this fresh, I had to put it in the fridge. So I try not to drink cold things too much, because not that good for your system, and also your voice, your throat gets affected. Anyway, if you remember Abraham Maslow, he says humans no longer have instincts like the animal, in the animal kingdom, in the animal sense, but powerful, unmistakable inner voices. And so these inner voices literally tell them what to do, when and how and with whom, and so on and so forth. And so you need to be very, very still and very quiet to be able to do that. So calmness is always very, very useful. When I feel and I hear and I talk to somebody who's agitated all the time, then I tell them to slow down and to pay attention to that. By the way, if you want to be part of this program, just simply click on that link and you can be part of this program as well, and be a guest and share your knowledge. And I would welcome you as a guest as well. So click on that link that allows you to do that. If you need that link again, please let me know, and I'll put it up there one more time. So there are several ways, and later on, after I finish all of this and I create a 3-day course to awaken your third eye, which, by the way, is frightening and works for a lot of people as well. It also helps you to balance your inner energy so that you know how to work some of the things you need to work. And again, paying attention to why you want your third eye opened. Is it to pay attention to what's happening with your lover, your spouse, or so on and so forth, to keep tabs on them? Then that's the wrong reason. If you want to reach a higher plane of existence, to be able to understand your place in the entire universe, or to be able to understand what you can do to help those around you, then that's a different thing altogether. And then you should pay attention to that as well. Opening the third eye, before you do that, you need to learn how to ground yourself and how to center yourself. And also at the same time, how to stand and feel the energies in your body. A certain practice with qi and moving qi and qigong and all of these different things will also be able to help you as well, because you start to move into, activate, flow, direct, and redirect all of these energies because you can see them at that point. So again, we'll talk about that later when I start to talk about how to activate your higher self, your higher consciousness. So a lot of the supplements I'm going to show you right now, I'm going to talk to you right now, is research supported pineal gland supplements. The first of which is iodine. It's a mineral found in sea vegetables like seaweed or kelp. And this vital mineral assists the thyroid gland in regulating hormones. And it's one of the most efficient removers or chelators, we call it, removers of heavy metal on the body. Chelation therapy, all of that is to remove heavy metals from your body. Now, iodine creates heavy metals, chelates, heavy metals like mercury, lead, cadmium, and aluminum, especially from the cans and that you drink from, and so on and so forth, as well as the fluoride that you drink from your water, and so on and so forth. The water that I drink does not come from the tap. It is literally distilled water. No minerals, nothing, absolutely. And you can bleach out everything from your system if there is such a thing as toxicity, water toxicity as well. So we'll talk about that another day. It's not important now. If I grimace, it's because there's the juice of 4 lemons in that, and pomegranate, pure, with water and no sugar. I should have put some sugar in it. Would have been good. Anyway, regardless, let's talk about this. When iodine intake happens, you increase the excretion of bromide, fluoride, and some heavy metals, like I said, including mercury and lead. And bromide and fluoride cannot be removed any other way or in any other detoxifying technique. You have to use iodine. So when you begin researching the harmful effects of fluoride exposure, you begin to realize it's not really the first time that a lot of people who are doing chelation therapy has heard of using iodine. Iodine is very, very essential. It's a pineal gland detox. And in most Asian countries, you've also noticed that seaweed is a mainstay. In Singapore and McDonald's, can you believe it? They put seaweed on the fries. Some of it is good. Some of it just tastes like you're having French fries and licking the beach at the same time. It doesn't taste that good, but you got to get used to it. Iodine deficiencies, you'll find, will happen in most Western countries, but not so much in Asian countries. How do you take iodine? Well, the best 2 options that I am aware of, at least, is by buying something called thiodine, thiodine. It's by a formula produced by Ms. Izzy, is the brand, Ms. Izzy, Izzzy. And you will find this on iherb.com, iherb.com. iherb.com, it's quite inexpensive, and you should be able to get it dirt cheap as well. GNCs have this thing called detoxidine. Detoxidine is found on the shelf, and it has got minute traces of iodine, and that will also help you. Now, thiodine is a high-quality liquid iodine supplement made from potassium iodide and molecular iodine, and it's very, very useful in this chelation, but also it's been around for at least a century, at least 100 years, and the formula is contained of 2-to-1 ratio of potassium iodide and molecular iodine, just to let you know. So you can also take this transdermally through a patch on the skin if you don't like the taste of it. And again, you will find that the patches on iherb.com. Now, the detoxidine is a nascent iodine formula, which means that it's sourced from 300-million-year-old salt deposits that are 7,000 feet below the Earth's surface. Now, increasing your iodine intake can reduce your calcium levels, so be sure to eat a lot of calcium-rich food like broccoli or kale or almonds and flax seeds when you're taking iodine supplements. So again, the dosages will be on the packages itself. Don't exceed them. Don't think that the more you drink, go, and your third eye opens. It doesn't happen like that. It takes a period of a week or 2 or 3 for the actual chelation to work. Just to let you know, some honey or maple juice could remove the grimace from your face. Yeah, it could. Yeah, it could. Next time. They don't have maple here. That's the problem. It's and in fact, to buy a small thing of maple, just this big, it costs you like $20 in this country. I remember from Montreal, my home was not too far, about 2 hours from Montreal. I would go up there and buy these big jugs of maple syrup for what? A few dollars. Anyway. So iodine capsules also help, but if you can, use the raw kelp powder that you find also in iHerb as well. I think the ones from Iceland are much better because the water is much cleaner in Iceland than it is in the rest of the world. Taking a look at the ocean currents and everything else, you may want to do that from Iceland and not from anywhere else. The second pineal gland cleaner and chelator is turmeric. Turmeric is an excellent supplement for detoxing the pineal gland. And if you take a look at studies that has been done in many pharmacy journals about turmeric and its various effects on the body, effects on the psychology and neurology of the brain, you'd be surprised why it's not being used more often. As an anti-cancer agent as well, the active ingredient in turmeric is called curcumin. And so you find curcumin-rich foods, curries and dals and some Indian foods and even some Polynesian foods that use just turmeric alone is very, very tasty. And so like when there was no COVID around, I would go to the Indian town here where they would use a ton of turmeric and treat that as, even though it's delicious and it's fun, it's on a banana leaf and what have you, it is medicine, and your body just treats it like medicine. Only time medicine is fun. So supplementation with curcumin significantly reduces the toxic effect of fluoride. Brings it back down to near normal levels by augmenting the antioxidant defense by its scavenging property, basically, and provides evidence of having the therapeutic role against oxidative stress-mediated neurodegeneration. In other words, the oxidation that happens to your cells also starts to degrade your neural pathways. So it's very, very important to take these antioxidants. There's one called Super Pure Organic Turmeric Extract. It's also from iherb.com. You can get almost everything there. I should be getting some sort of a discount from these guys, but it doesn't matter. The things are so cheap anyway. It just really is. It would be helping you as well. When you cook, if you can cook with fresh turmeric, it looks kind of like ginger a little bit. You can use a turmeric root powder if you want to, and in your foods. I know the Indians, they do this. They take a glass of milk, warm milk, and they put 2 tablespoons of this in the morning, and they mix it. And they use milk straight from the cow. A2 milk, it's called. A1 is what you're drinking right now, which is pasteurized and decombobulated. It's not even milk. It's really bad for you. It causes a lot of inflammation. But A2 milk is twice as expensive, and your body assimilates it a little bit better. And you'd be surprised how it works in your system. But they mix this whole thing. They call it the golden elixir, and they drink it every day. If you can, it'll be good. It's a little bit hard to swallow. Most times than not, you get this curcumin off the shelf if you can. You need to pair it with something called bioperine, which is found in bioperine is basically a fancy name somebody came up with to talk about ground black pepper. And that's what it is. The ground black pepper has a lot of goodness for your neural cells and your chelation that needs to happen as well. I put a lot of pepper on my food until, I don't know if you've ever been to an Italian restaurant where they have these big pepper grinders and they grind your food, and they said, more, sir? I said, yes. Don't stop until I say stop. And they'll continue and they'll continue. And finally, because everybody's looking, I have to say, okay, stop. But otherwise, it's always very, very good for you. There's a pineal gland supplement called Activator X. It seems like something out of science fiction, but after doing a little research, I was actually quite intrigued. In 1945, the Isaac Newton of nutrition, who was a former dentist named Weston Price, described a vitamin-like compound that plays a major role in growth, in reproduction, brain function, tooth decay prevention, and protection against calcification of the arteries. Price called this compound Activator X. Now, this guy determined that it occurred in the butter fats, in organs, and in the fat of animals that consume rapidly growing green grass. Now, if you've heard the buzz about grass-fed butter in this biohacking community, or even my friend Dave Asprey's Bulletproof Coffee, the original research is based on Price's Activator X. Activator X combines with vitamin K1 and K2, and K1 occurs in rapidly growing green leafy plants. Intestinal microflora in animal tissues produces vitamin K2. Now, you can find it in organ meats. You can find it in fermented dairy products like cheese or butter, grass-fed butter mostly, in sauerkraut, and also in marine oils. Omega-3s would have it, and cod liver fish oil would also have it. Now, scientists now know that vitamin K2 deficiency causes calcification of the cardiovascular system. That's why they suggest that when you take your omegas, you take it 3, 6, and 9 in combination. 3 more so than everything else, because of the way in which it helps you to keep your blood flows through this veins and arteries smooth and supple and less prone to ruptures and tears. Vitamin K2 in its Activator X form helps remove calcium from the arteries, and we can assume that it actually does so in the pineal gland itself. Now, Activator X doesn't actually eliminate calcium. Instead, it redirects the calcium towards our bones and teeth where they are needed. Now, that's how it helps prevent, and reverse sometimes, tooth decay. So the Price found that the K2 magic came alive when paired with vitamin A and D and two other fat-soluble activators. So these vitamins signal the cells to produce certain proteins, and vitamin K activates these proteins. How do you take Activate X? Use this for the pineal gland's detox that you want to combine with vitamin K2 and additional A and D. One way of doing this is to take Green Pasture's X Factor high vitamin butter oil. Can you imagine that? My parents are always getting in my case about taking too much butter. But you see, the point is butter oil has a lot of goodness for you that you cannot even begin to imagine. The more expensive the butter is, the more you see that it's from grass-fed cows and what have you. And the concentrated butter oil actually gives you the K2 that you need. Now, what I'm going to do at the end of this, instead of showing you exactly what to do, at the end of this program, I have to put a label on this, on both of these, YouTube as well as Facebook, the video that is the end result of the live stream. Do I have any more guests? No, I don't have any more guests. Nobody's coming on. Okay, and so what I'll do is I'll put the links to all of this so that you'll know exactly where to get it. So it would help you as well. I don't know if you remember Tim Ferriss. He recommends this supplement as well as Kerrygold Irish grass-fed butter. And Kerrygold is found in Singapore. It's an Irish butter. It's found especially in Bulgaria. It's very easy to get. And that's what we've been buying most of the time. Some German butters, Marken butters, also filled with a lot of grass-fed goodness as well. It's also a good way, according to Tim Ferriss, to increase testosterone in males, in men. I was going to say male men. Are they female men? No. Just must be the result of the lemonade. We don't know. Another way to get K2 a lot of K2 is to consume ghee. Now, ghee is clarified butter, the result of a very slow clarification of processed butter that removes all the moisture, all the lactose, all the caseins from butter. And to use that, a friend of mine, Dr. Siva, puts the ghee all over his food even after it's cooked, and then takes it. And because it really, really helps you in so many ways. It's like the exact opposite of what you would think would happen. What kills you is not the ghee. It's not the butter. What kills you is the stress that you experience, mental, emotional, physical stress that you put yourself to because you think some things are important and they really are not important. Or maybe you're surrounded by assholes sometimes, and that's okay. Sometimes, like today, I just reacted badly in the morning about something, and my brother reminded me. He said, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I said, "Okay, yeah, so sorry, stopped." So sometimes we need family and loved ones to tell us, "Okay, redirect your thoughts a little bit." Yes, these people are terrible, and yes, it would be preferable if they were no longer on the planet, but it's none of our business. Let life take care of itself. Yeah. So anyway, ghee is butter that's made from grass-fed cows, and the product, actually, ghee doesn't need to be refrigerated. It has a very, very long shelf life. We use it a lot in Bulgaria and cooking. My son uses coconut oil and ghee in a mixture as well. And according to Dave Asprey, you can use the ghee in making coffee. And when you do that and you spin it with one of those little mechanical spinners things, it'll mix perfectly well. Coconut, butter, ghee, sorry, and coffee. Trust me, it is just so delicious, and it picks up your energy levels too at the same time. So you'll be surprised what that will do. Now, the other supplement is Shilajit. Now, Shilajit is a plant material that's produced over millions of years from plants that are preserved in the dark crevices of the Himalaya mountains. Silagit forms a very thick resin that's packed with 85 different trace minerals, including fulvic acid. Now, numerous studies demonstrate Silagit's anti-aging effects and how it protects against cellular damage. Silagit also reduces chronic fatigue syndrome. Now, that's in rats, but we would assume that that same thing is also in human beings, because the best Silagit that I found when I started looking for it is called Pearl Black Live Resin. It's a true gold and silver Silagit. Now, the quality of the Silagit is far superior to most of the brands. And again, I will send you the link of where to get this, because that's not an iHerb, and that's very difficult to find in many places as well. So I will list that down here so you'll know exactly where to get it. Pearl Black comes in the form of thick, sticky goo, and you dissolve it in a small amount of warm water before you drink it. And I have experienced this before in Seattle when it was more easily available, and that was, we're talking 15 years ago, when we were doing exercises with more than 30 years ago. Holy crap, twice that. Long before I got married. And wow, that's divorced. A while. We were doing a lot of work with people and third eyes and decalcifying and going into Kundalini work and everything like that. And it's work. It's not easy. It's work. It's very expensive, I remember. So I'll find out now where we can get that, and I'll start to put it down in the this show. Keegan asks, what is your view on hydrogen enhanced water? Well, a lot of people are selling hydrogen enhanced water, and what it does is it seems to activate the bands or the hydrogen bonds. It starts to increase the hydrogen bonds between the water. H2O, one molecule of oxygen and 2 molecules of hydrogen, and the bonds are increased somehow. It's a little bit like Masaru Emoto adding a label to anything you're drinking. It enhances it somehow, and your mind has something to do with it, but these people have done it with actual hydrogen. It's a new thing, just started maybe a couple of years ago. Afterward, they started to put oxygen in there, then they put hydrogen in there. We haven't had enough time to study all of it yet, so I wouldn't know until we see some effects. Wouldn't it be good to have helium enhanced water so we can all drink it and sound really funny while we drink it? You found the difference. Wow, very cool. That's excellent. And what is the difference? You start to go on fire next to flames, or what do you feel? Your breath has a flame coming out, or I'm just kidding. But you tell us what exactly, when you feel the difference, what is the difference? Okay, he will tell us in a short while what the difference is. So it will help you. Anyway, the other supplement, the 5th supplement, is called fulvic acid. That's more readily available because it eliminates toxins and heavy metals, and you'll find it in iHerb as well. It also appears to deliver antioxidants and minerals directly to the cells. So it affects the production and the health of mitochondria within the cells itself. I've tried a lot of the different fulvic acid products in the market before settling on something called optimally organic or something like that, fulvic ionic minerals. And you can find fulvic acid everywhere. And now they've got better ones. You have better sleep, better energy, rested sleep, and a lot more hydrated than normal. Wow, very cool. So there you go. A man high on hydrogen water, and it works. So anyway, Fulvic minerals and is like an Americanized version of shilajit that has been used in the Far East, in the Himalayas and what have you. Um, Fulvic acid usually has the combination of fulvic acid ionic compounds. Usually have humic acid, essential amino acids, and about 77 trace minerals as well. And due to its high concentration, you need about 6 drops in some water, and that's it. And then just drink that every other day, or every day, sorry. And within 3, 4, 5 days, you'll see the difference. Judy says, it's similar to Kangen water, seems to make one less tired. Rest is not easy to prove. Yes, it's you have to allow for something called the placebo effect. Somebody gives you a pill and says, look, this has helped wake my grandmother from the dead. Why didn't you try it? And say, holy shit, I feel really good too. So again, you got to do with placebos and a lot of tests. So I'm not sure. My son was into this whole Kangen water thing for a while. And then he found that there were a lot of problems with the machine. In fact, I'm the one that found the problem with the machine, because when he had installed it in Bulgaria, I tried it and my instincts just said, something is not right here. And I just don't know what it was. The taste was good. It was better. And so on and so forth. So those of you selling Kangen machines, I am so sorry. Don't show your friends this broadcast. But I put it in a bottle like this next to my bed. And one time I didn't drink the whole thing. Usually I wake up in the morning, I drink about this much of water. Can you believe it? You allow your body to create what is called a kidney flush. And throughout the day, you just pee like crazy. But it is water, just water that I take. Warm water and just let it go through your system. And one time I didn't go all the way down. I left it there just a little bit, an inch from Kangen water. And came back in the evening after doing my hoo-ha-ha-ha-ha, and I saw these white deposits at the bottom. I said, what the hell is this? Oh, the machine needs cleaning. I went ahead and cleaned it, and it didn't get better. And I said, I'm not drinking from this anymore. I don't know what that stuff is. So who knows? Pineal gland supplement number 6. Yes, the peeing effect. Then friends said it's best not to drink too much of. No, I drink water every day. And so throughout the day, it just cleanses me. And you'd be surprised. It keeps you also free of toxins. And if you don't drink enough water, this COVID virus has a place in which to create a nest inside of you through the soup that is your sludge. Your tissues are sludge without water. Literally, the water is necessary to flush out all of the toxins, and your cell's primary function in the body, 80% of its functions of all of your organs in the body is to flush out toxins, 80% of its function. So if you don't have enough water, where the hell does it flush to? It cannot go anywhere. So drink a lot of water. It's very useful. Chaga mushrooms. I don't know if you've heard of them. The Chinese call it the king of plants. In Siberia, it's called the gift of God. And for the Japanese, it's called the diamond in the forest. Not bad for wood rotting fungus. Good names for it. Now, hundreds of scientific studies have demonstrated the potent effects of the chaga mushroom on the immune, hormonal, central nervous system. Now, studies in Finland and Russia found that chaga is an efficient anti-tumor agent, as well as antiviral. Chaga, spelled C-H-A-G-A, provides us with phytochemicals and nutrients like melanin that you need as well. Melanin provides the pigment that we have in our skins, in our hair, eyes, all of that. The pineal gland uses melanin to shield us from UV light. So from the research, it sounds like Siberian chaga appears to be the most potent. and the highest recorded of all antioxidants in that class of fungus. And according to the ORAC scale, ORAC, the most efficient and traditional way of ingesting chaga is in tea. It comes packaged in chunks and looks and feels like bark. Tree bark is what it feels like. You can steep it in chunks, but when I was given it in the time I told you 30 years ago and doing all of this work, I was actually instructed to grind it into a powder. So I used a coffee grinder, simple coffee grinder, and it worked, and it was good. So Siberian raw chaga mushrooms chunks can be bought on iHerb and a few other sites on the internet as well. Again, I will list the sites here so you will have it. And if you're looking for something more convenient, I think there's a company called Sayan that actually makes a Siberian raw chaga tea with unbleached tea bags. Again, it's a little expensive, but you need to let this bark steep for at least 45 minutes before you can feel the effects of it. Now, here's the interesting part, and chocolate lovers, you will love this. The pineal gland supplement number 7 is raw cacao. That's going to be a bitch to finish. Multiple scientific studies show that raw cacao is rich in flavonoids, bioflavonoids. It helps decrease blood pressure and improve blood vessel health. By triggering high levels of nitric acid, raw cacao increases the size of blood vessels. And larger blood vessels means more blood flow and oxygen to make its way to the pineal gland, supporting healthier functioning and detox. Raw cacao is loaded with antioxidants as well as anandamide. Now, again, these are the raw ingredients of chocolate. So called the bliss molecule. Sometimes they call cacao the bliss molecule. And hence this breakdown. Anandamide is a neurotransmitter that's actually produced in the brain. It's the reason why people feel high when they eat good chocolate. Phenylalanine is one of the byproducts of it and gives you the same feeling as if you are in love. But not all chocolate is created equal. Cocoa powder is raw cacao roasted at very high temperatures. And this roasting process changes the chemical structure of the bean, and it eliminates a lot of the enzymes and the nutrients. Now, cold pressing unroasted raw cacao, cocoa beans, makes raw cacao powder. So to get to the desired effects of your pineal gland detox, you want raw cacao, ideally organic. If not, the other stuff also works. So this can be gotten anywhere, in any health food stores in Singapore, Bulgaria, the United States, of course. And if you're listening, Luke, you can probably get it from the Trader Joe's also as well. Again, massive quantities you can buy for a lot cheaper in the United States than anywhere else, and I don't know why. So you can even blend it into coffee to create like a cafe mocha, but this time badass. Pineal gland supplement number 8 is tamarind. One study and a follow-up study that followed that one from the earlier 2000 to 2005 demonstrated that tamarind increased the excretion of fluoride in urine compared to the control group. Now, the researchers believe that tamarind may even be able to reverse the effects of skeletal fluorosis, which is caused by ingesting fluoride. It actually affects the bones. So the study showed that the compound from tamarind fruit, from the shell, can actually be used to defluoridate groundwater. You know, the part you don't eat, the shell, the hard shell. They grind it up and they put it in the ground, and they actually defluoridate the water, use it as part of the filtration process. So organic tamarind products are very hard to come by, but there's a lot that you can get that's GMO free in the United States. If you're listening from there, Ashok, if you go to Trader Joe's, or you go up to Westchester County, you'll find Trader Joe's as well. You'll find a lot of this there as well. There are various brands since the time that we've used them, and I don't know what brands exist right now. But here, if you're local, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Philippines, and Indonesia, you get it from the market. It's readily available. It's sweet. It's like candy. Um, the other ingredient that will help with your pineal gland is raw apple cider vinegar. It's a raw apple cider vinegar is a natural metal detoxifier. The malic acid that is found in raw apple cider vinegar detoxifies heavy metals, while its natural vitamins and minerals and enzymes replenish your body with a lot of nutrients that you need anyway. Malic acid, by its very nature, binds with toxins and helps the body eliminate them more efficiently. So apple cider vinegar can cleanse the lymph nodes as well to allow better lymph circulation. That is also necessary for removing toxins and improving your immune response. Very excellent for your pineal gland detox. So make sure you get raw apple cider vinegar. The brand that comes to mind that my parents use, and if we can find it in everywhere, actually you can find it even in NTUC if you're from Singapore, is Bragg's, Dr. Bragg, organic raw apple cider vinegar. It's expensive, but you know what? Your body is more expensive than that. How much is your body worth? So you decide. All of this is to take out all the metal and to decalcify your pineal gland. It doesn't make you instantly psychic, but if you get the equipment working, it's easier to get the effects that you want from the equipment, don't you think? So you can even use it in salad dressing if you want to. Replace the regular vinegar, and it'll be very, very tasty for you as well. Boron is another substance that can be used. A study done in 1942, as early as that, discovered that boric acid is an antidote to fluoride and fluorine. Boric acid is the most common form of boron, which is a trace mineral. Foods that are high in boron are things like avocados, almonds, bananas, beans, beets, chickpeas, dates, hazelnuts, prunes, raisins, and walnuts. But you also get boron in fulvic acid and also in the shilajit that we talked about earlier. There's another pineal gland supplement that is called green superfoods. Now, all foods that are rich in chlorophyll will help to chelate heavy metals from your body while you nourish your body at the same time. Chlorophyll-dense foods like chlorella, spirulina, wheatgrass. A lot of people take wheatgrass shots, which is very good for you. I cannot even begin to tell you how good it is. Doesn't taste good, tastes like grass. But the oxygen levels, you're increasing your system, and you repair damaged tissues, and you boost your immune system dramatically by taking a lot of that as well. Now, theoretically, anything that boosts your oxygen and your immune function should actually support your body in reversing pineal gland calcification. So you need to pay attention to that. So any foods that's always charged with sunlight should also support healthy pineal gland functioning, just for you to know this as well. So the ones that I do take when I was taking it, and I need to start taking it as well, is Ormus. It's a brand that went across a lot of detox and chelation foods. In fact, 20 years ago, when I was with my brother in in Chicago, I used to prepare for him these pills, 30 or 40 of them at a time, and give it to him in a packet, and got my children, I paid them money to be able to create a 3-month supply of these pills so that he would swallow them. And a lot of them contained these super greens and kept him as healthy as he was. We stopped taking that because I started getting busy, kind of left the whole place and all of that. There's also something called chlorella tablets, and you've seen them everywhere. Now there's so many brands producing it, so I don't know which ones are good, which ones are not. I have not been able to find out. So when you start to pay attention to this thing, what I will do is I'll put this guide supplement reference for you, and I'll put it at the end of this show so that you'll have it, and you can refer to it, and then you start looking for it on your own. I'm not selling any of this. None of them have endorsed me for any of my stuff and shows that I run. So, yeah, that's it basically. So pay attention to all of this. Decalcifying all of these will be very, very useful. Now, there are some things also that you need to do to be able to increase your the activation potential of your third eye, your pineal gland. I told you before, meditation works. The third eye meditation is quite specific in what other people give you, and what I'm giving you is something shortcut. Actually, I told you about sun gazing. It's very useful. Try not to damage your eyes as you do the sun gazing thing. Practice qigong, if you will. Pay attention to the energies that you are surrounded with. Even your thoughts can affect all of them. And there's also something called brainwave entrainment. There are frequencies, and the US government is working with frequency weapons that can actually cause harm and damage your third eye and other parts and so on and so forth. Why is opening the third eye anathema? Why is it difficult for them? Because then you will start to know things that you're not supposed to know. Then you'll start to pay attention to your unique qualities as a human being, that you are much more than you can ever imagine yourself to be, that you are beyond the physical, that you exist as a multidimensional being with tremendous power and ability, and that you need to take back your power after giving it away. You are a sovereign human being. I say that with trepidation, because one woman went to the mental hospital in Singapore by saying, "I'm sovereign." She spent a lot of time in Australia, so kind of tells you a little bit, doesn't it? Regardless, the point is the meditation. What time is it? 10:30. Okay, we still have time. I asked you to imagine where your eyebrows intersect, right here above the bridge, the orange, either an actual orange or a ball that's orange in color. And just to not do anything, you can spin it this way, spin it that way, spin it this way, but you got to pay attention to it. Every little bit of the surface of the orange. Now, what I want you to do, after you do this for a week, that's why I didn't introduce it to you. It's been about a week now. So let's go to the opposite end of the spectrum. From orange, we're going down to blue. Name something blue that's round. Could be a grape. Perfect grape. That's blue. Or blueberry, sorry. Blueberries are blue. They actually are. Unless you get the black blueberries. That's a whole different story. But imagine a blueberry. And the reason I keep it with fruits and objects is because some people cannot imagine a ball. But if you can imagine a ball, that would be preferable. And the surface of the ball. Are there marks on it? And so on and so forth. So imagine a blueberry right in the center. And now you imagine that. Those of you who did the orange, you're going to find that your clarity of mind is increased. For some reason, you're more aware of more things than you've ever been before. How does it work? Well, I'll explain later. First of all, you do the exercise. I'll explain as you start to develop your mind and your ability to think and do a lot of things. Your mind is so powerful. It's just that nobody taught you how to use it. Nobody taught you how to use the exercise to do it. And ask me how I know. I don't know how I know. I just know. They call it remembering past lives and trainings and everything else like that as well. So that's a mosquito. Wow, welcome, little guy. You're not going to make it very far. So anyway, you can tell I'm not Buddhist from that. there's this thing called what is that disease going around in Singapore now? The cases are going up. Dengue fever is going up like crazy, as if that's not uh, COVID is not enough. There's also dengue going around, and these mosquitoes are the ones that somehow come in. Is my window open? No, it's not. So they're coming in somehow. My house, my home is hermetically sealed. What that means is it bothers everybody who comes in here, from the maid to my parents to whoever. Why don't you let it air for a little bit? No, 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 I don't want it to air, because there are all kinds of vermin out there. Flies, mosquitoes, rats, what have you, everything. So nothing comes in to this place. It's just me. In fact, I've done it in such a way that nothing actually comes in any other form as well, or any other creature comes in that is non-corporeal, if you can understand it. So it's one of the safest places on the planet to sit down, meditate, allow yourself to drift and go somewhere else. So blueberry, yes, do this for about a week. And again, the same exercise, spin it forward, spin it backwards, spin it sideways, spin it diagonally, spin it this way, left to right to left, all of that. The reason for the spin is so that you can focus more on it. When you pay attention, if I ask you to just look at a stationary object, like a blue ball or a blueberry, and you don't do anything but look at it, your mind will wander. But if you have a task of spinning something or moving it, actively engaging your consciousness in it, then your unconsciousness begins to hone in like a laser onto that and start to pay attention to that. Also, what happens is the direction of energy between the left brain and right brain. No one is absolutely right brain. No one is absolutely left brain. There's a lot of messages that go back and forth. So in a sense, what you're doing is you're awakening the full potential of that nerve highway, the corpus callosum between the left brain and right brain, by doing these exercises. Again, stay calm, stay cool. You don't have to do it for very long. 5 minutes, 10 minutes is enough. And that's it. And you'll be surprised what that will do throughout your day. Try it and you'll see that you will start to... Should I preface it? Orange, I told you, was for clarity. This one is the opposite spectrum, which means that now we're going to raise the energies of your inner environment, your body, your energy field. You'll begin to notice where it becomes hot, where it becomes cold in your body. Things will just start to happen naturally, and you'll start to pay attention with all of this as well. So do this, and it will behoove you. What is the goal? The goal is to do it for at least a week. Stay calm, stay cool, be patient, and then what do? You've got orange on one end, you've got this on the other end. Now we need to go after a week. What you need to do is to go to red, the outside. And when you go red, you'll think of an apple that's super red, red delicious, and so on and so forth. Spin it this way, spin it this way, spin it this way. Do it that way for about 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes, 10 if you are so inclined. And for a week, and watch what happens to your consciousness as well. The same thing on the following week. Do the same thing with another fruit that's on the ultraviolet color, like some shades of a very light, deep purple. And you'd be surprised with how that works. So what I'm training you to do is slowly expanding from the middle to the edges of the spectrum of light. What's going to happen is you're going to then take purple. This is in the 6th week. You will take the purple or the ultraviolet, and you will take the intense red or infrared just beyond. You'll find that you will begin to stray, and you will need to collapse them all. Boom, here. At that time, there are no colors. When you focus here, it's just pure not invisible. What do you call it? There's a word for it. Transparent. There is no color, just transparent. And at that point, you begin to see things that people just read about in books. Are you ready? If you are, do it. If you're not, the adjustment period to an open third eye, a fully open third eye, a fully open third eye apparatus is 6 months, maybe, at least. But here's the thing. You need to learn to switch it off also. Because people who are stuck on the third eye, usually go a little bit schizophrenic and end up in mental hospitals and stuff. So at which point, that's where I come in. Just let me know if you have trouble switching it off, and I will help you remotely. It's not hard. It's easy for people like me who've been practicing for a long time. Why am I doing this? Because the battles that we fight are not earthly battles. They involve territories that you can only imagine and principalities that you can only imagine. And you'd be surprised some of the things you can see and you don't want to see. I see them. Mostly ignore them because they're not doing me any harm, and they're not doing anybody any harm. But if they are, I step in and I help, especially if it's people I love and care about. People that I don't, I just say, go ahead, feast yourself and create massive unrest inside their minds, their hearts, their bodies. Maybe it's good for their karma. Who knows? No, I'm not vindictive at all. I'm just saying. Sometimes it's interesting. The dramas that happen in daily life are better than the ones you watch on TV. I only help the people who ask for help. I don't just step in. Sometimes it's, I remember once or twice, somebody had asked me, my insurance agent sat with me, we were having coffee a few years ago. And I went like this and I said, is there somebody behind me? A little girl. I said, yeah, how you know? I just feel it. There was so much pain. And I turned around and I saw her. And she was obviously suffering from cancer of some kind, but it wasn't cancer. It was something else that was draining her. Then I looked at her brother, who was a tiny little guy, maybe barely 5 or 4. And his eyes were different, and it freaked out my insurance person. And she said, what is wrong with him? I said, nothing. I can't explain to her because she will freak and all of that. And whoever was inside the boy just looked at me and said, do not interfere. This one is mine. And then I understood that this is karmic over a period of time. The wrongs that we do to others will greet us in whatever life we find ourselves. You don't get away by hurting people. You don't get away. No one gets away. You will account for it. You will atone for it. And you will make restitution in one form or another. But to the person you have wronged. But here's the good news. It's not a tit for tat. It doesn't work like that. It's not like that. It's more like, what are the lessons? Are these what make you a superior being? Are these what makes you an inferior being? And what are the lessons you need to learn to improve and to become better as part of the collective? And the collective meaning this entire soul of God broken up into, on this planet, 7 billion plus parts. Other planets, untold hundreds of billions. other dimensions, untold billions upon billions upon billions. You cannot conceive this dimension, let alone that, and others and others and others. It becomes difficult. You have to sit for a long time and sometimes even let go of what you have here and let go of some of the preconceptions you have and then steer yourself right. I told you the opening of the third eye is meant only for one thing, basically, is to keep yourself clear, you know. And why it works, it's been thought for many, many years. I wanted to talk to you about something also very, very important. Besides the detox, what was it? Can't remember. In many traditions in Egypt, many traditions in the Sumerian culture, many traditions in the Thracian warrior culture of Bulgaria, just to let you know, the activation of third eye was linked to something called the black sun. It's a little bit hard to explain because it's no longer exists. It's a religion that used to exist about 7,000 years ago called Tangra. And it's partially Sumerian, partially Egyptian, and partially part of a culture that came not from us. Not from us. What's the importance of third eye activation? If you want to know from a psychology perspective, and this is where I sound a little bit crazy, but then again, I walk two worlds, so it's easy for me because I've spent a lot of time between two worlds. I have had a near-death experience at age 18, which changed me forever. Came back with certain gifts, but also certain realizations that this is not life. This is not home. That home is much, much more than this. But Nibiru and Planet X is something else, but it has, everybody assumes that Planet X or Nibiru is on this dimensional plane, but it's not. It's happening in a different plane as well. Things and planets phase in and phase out. But here I'm talking about, from a psychology perspective, Keegan, something very, very simple. Why do we open the third eye? Well, in Hindu culture, I told you, they call it the Ajna chakra. And we do it because when your third eye is blocked or calcified, you exhibit certain psychological tendencies. You become uncertain with life. You have confusion, usually. You're not sure about this, that. You're not sure about people. You become jealous. Jealousy becomes huge. Then you become cynical. One more time. I take this, it wakes me up. Fully awake now. I think I woke up my fourth and fifth eyes. So you become cynical and you become pessimistic and sometimes depressed. And as a result, you feel a little bit directionless. The reason why you want to open the third eye, and when it's fully open and you perceive reality differently, not as the way you feel, not the way you are, but reality as it really is. Now, you become clear. You have this thing called clarity. And if you've read or watched the movie The Meta Secret, you'll notice that I tell you, and I wrote a lot of the lines for the various actors within the movie, clarity is power. Clarity is the ultimate aim of any spiritual path or tradition. Not to mask it with this, that, and hyperdelics and other things that happen and other psychedelic experiences. No, it's clarity, to be able to envision the universe, life, the multiverse, you, with absolute clarity. to be able to open up your intuitive response to the world, where your whole body acts as one unit and your mind acts as one unit to avoid pain, to avoid suffering, to make life a little bit easier. There are two paths you can walk, and none of them are wrong. Okay, you want to walk a hard path? Sure, fine. You want to walk an easier path? You can do that too. But with more awareness, ease comes. With less awareness, ease does not come. You have dis-ease. When you open the third eye, you'll have more empathy for the people around you. You'll start to pay attention to what people are feeling. It doesn't mean you have to respond. It doesn't mean you have to save everyone. It just means that you can act with a little bit more kindness. Also, at the same time, when your third eye is open, you have more focus, an ability to concentrate, and you also have more decisiveness. And when you have this, these are the practical aspects of third eye activation that you need to think about. And so I wanted to cover all of this because it's not about mystical who, although it is. But then again, what is mystical to you is science for a lot of other people. And so when you pay attention to the science or how your mind is, your brain is put together, the neuroscience of it all, and your idea of mind, then you see how philosophy has gone all the way through its gamut, through psychology and to neuroscience, into an absolute embrace of what is unknown. We have a need to know, which is a deadly need. But we also have an arrogance to think that at this point we know everything, and we don't. And so can you be comfortable with unknowing? Can you allow yourself this absolute pleasure of just surrendering to the moment and the time? And maybe at that point, you begin to realize how little control you actually have and how little everything is in control. It's not. There is no control. It's like my friend Wayne Dyer would talk about the Tao. You are in a bus, you're traveling, and you complain about the journey that you're in. And so you want to complain to the driver and say, hey, excuse me, I don't want this. And you walk to the front and you look at the driver's seat and there's nobody there. No one's driving the bus. And then what the hell? Can you conceive? The problem is you need control. And because you need to control, you try to control everything. And that is what causes more pain and more suffering. You cannot control stupid people. You cannot control, even if they're related to you, you cannot control stupid people. You cannot control malicious folks. You cannot control your environment. You cannot control illusions that are around you. They smell of democracy, but it's something else you're smelling. Illusions of your freedom. You don't have any. Are you comfortable with that? Can you do anything about it? Why? You want to be a martyr? I don't know. So, there's a lot of... It gives clarity. Following it's that of what mattered didn't at all unless we give permission to be disturbed. That whole statement is disturbing. I didn't understand it. It gives clarity. Following it's that of what mattered didn't at all unless we give permission to be disturbed. Okay. Galia. Yay, decisiveness. That's what I badly need. I'm so glad. See, you're decisive about that already. Then Mel, Judy continues, it becomes that times frequently it seems to become like it's blank, without thoughts, which is not easy, which normally the mind has thoughts flowing in, not controlled. Are you drinking, Judy? Because I'm trying to structure that sentence in a way that makes sense. And if I can step back and take the general gist of it, the flow of it, tell me if I'm wrong in interpreting it. You're saying that it's hard to keep the mind blank without thoughts, which normally the mind has thoughts flowing. Yes, it's hard to keep your mind empty. I didn't ask you to empty your mind. It's not impossible to empty your mind because you have a brain. It's impossible. Any idiot or guru that tells you that you can do that is an idiot. You'll be spending your life looking at I don't know what to get blank. What does blank mind mean? I don't know how it would look. You can meditate. Meditation creates more focus and direction, although that's not what you're focusing on. Meditation allows your unconscious mind to take over a lot of what you normally do with consciousness. In other words, you give the control back to the unconscious, which, by the way, is aware of all the threads that connect the different people. Threads. I use the word threads loosely because it's, you've heard of the expression 6 degrees of separation. What separates you from Barack Obama meeting the person is 6 degrees. You might know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who knows Barack, that sort of thing. Same with all of that. So, and your unconscious is more aware of that than your conscious mind. If you want to have more of your conscious mind involved, then you have to build yourself to a level where you can have a helicopter view of everything. This was last week's lesson. Go back into the past episode 20. I will eventually sit down and work out what the talks are, and then I will redo all these talks in a very structured way, and then just put them all online so that you have them all, so they're pre-recorded. She continues, then it comes to a state of what used to disturbed being non-disturbing to unless I give permission to be disturbed. Does that disturb you? I am disturbed. Disturbed or perturbed? Returbed. The blank is that if I notice that usually my mind would have thoughts of this and that coming in and becomes kind of like blank, no thoughts. There's a difference between no thoughts and loss of awareness of your thoughts. That's a different thing altogether. It's like the moments before you sleep, you go like, am I thinking something? I don't know. I'm thinking I can't. I'm not paying attention to my sleeping, and when you fall asleep. And that's a little bit different. Unawareness of thinking is not the same as blank. If you want blank, how can I teach you in this moment how to be blank? And why would you want to be blank anyway? Just curious. Wow, 11 o'clock, how time flies. Shit. If any questions, let me try it again. I'm starting to talk like Judy. If you have any questions, let me ask like Judy. If you had any questions that have disturbed you, but are disturbing unless you give it a blank disturbance that is not filled with blank, please ask me. And otherwise, we'll call it a day. I've got 20% on this phone. How the hell did that happen? Wrong word to use. Need to think of right word. Yeah. I think you need to use the right word. But then again, when you begin to use the right word, you are now describing it from a cerebral perspective, no longer from mind state, from spirit state. You're talking it from mind state, and through the mind, you will never find freedom. It'll be very difficult because you are a prisoner of your mind. Why? Because your mind has been taught various things, prejudices, and ways in which you were schooled, and truths, whatever truths are for you, and so on and so forth. You got to pay attention to all of this as well. So sometimes that doesn't work in your favor. People, I want to thank you for paying attention to this. Tomorrow we'll continue again on the discussion. We'll wrap up on the pineal and then continue on the female and mind. Yes, we are multidimensional beings in a multidimensional universe. That's true. Would you like to travel through those universes? That's possible. We have to let go of the things that we have held on to so hard. In a world that lives like a fist, mercy is no more than walking with your hands open. So much more can happen with our hands open, people. In fact, closing and stubbornly maintaining our grip is often what keeps us stuck. Though we want to blame everything and everyone else, especially we've been holding on to them too long. There is an ancient story from China that makes all of this very clear. It stems from the way in which traps were set for monkeys. A coconut was hollowed out, and through an opening that was cut to the size of a monkey's hand, rice was then placed in the carved out fruit, the coconut, which was then left in the path of the monkeys. Then sooner or later, a hungry monkey would smell the rice and reach its hand in. But once it starts to fist the rice and hold on to it, its hand could no longer fit back out through the opening because it's too small. The monkeys that were caught were those who would not let go of the rice. As long as this monkey maintained its grip on the rice, it was a prisoner of its own making. The trap worked because the monkey's hunger was the master of its reach. The lesson for us is profound. We need to ask ourselves, I'm guilty of this too, I just realized that. Anyway, as long as the monkey maintains its grip on the rice, it was a prisoner of its own making. The trap worked simply because the monkey was hungry, and that hunger was overpowering, more so than the need to let go of the rice. The lesson for us is profound. We need to always ask ourselves, what is our rice? And what is keeping us from opening our grip and letting it finally go? It was after hearing this story that I finally understood the tense ritual of rejection that exists between my past and me. Like any child, I've always wanted to have more love and approval, but suddenly I realized that this has been my rice. The more that love did not come, the tighter my grip. My hunger for love has been the master of my reach. Even in other relationships, I've been a caught monkey, unable to let go, unwilling to let go. And I've since unfolded in the grip of my heart, and humbly I can now see that the real challenge of surrender for all of us is not just letting go, but letting go of something we yearn for. The truth is that food is everywhere. And through the stubborn monkey, it believes that its moment of hunger that there's no other food. It only has to let go for its life to unfold. Our journey to love is no different. For though we stubbornly cling, believing our moment of hunger that there is no other possibility of love, we only have to let go of what we want so badly, and our life will unfold. For love is everywhere. It is the hunger that makes you hold on. I'm gonna let this music play because YouTube and Facebook have been censoring everything I do with the music. I don't know why, because I have full permission to use it, so it becomes a little bit difficult. So I'll let you listen to Matea Jan's music. Look him up, he's on YouTube. Like his pages, comment on his music. He's a pianist, guitarist. He builds these amazing, beautiful, gorgeous guitars that are all shapes from a different dimension, literally. I will not play the morning song because I think that also is copyright. We'll fix everything. For now, thank you for spending your time with me. This program is called Uncommon Sense, and you're listening to the voice of Dr. Mel Gill. Tomorrow we'll broadcast again on this same channel, same page, 9:30 a.m. New York time, 9:30 p.m. Singapore time, and 4:30 p.m. Bulgaria time. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for paying attention. We will continue talking about the third eye tomorrow. Good night, everyone.